Welcome to my weekly spiel. Welcome to my weekly spiel. Yada yada blah blah blah. Yada yada blah blah blah. It's time for Margaret's weekly spiel. Greetings and salutations. I am Margaret Franklin of Margaret Franklin Creations, and I'm going to see if I can hand the camera over to Bobby Orr to hold on to while I do this presentation. Yeah, oh, perfect. And that way I will have my hands free so I can talk to you. Go figure. I bought a tripod over a year ago and I never use it. But so far so good. Bobby Orr's doing a good job holding my camera for me because I need my hands free because I got some splaining to do for you. Some things that I want to show you. First of all, I think was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was yesterday. I finished my Aunt Anne's quilt. It's a belated Christmas present for when she gets back from Florida. You can see a better picture of it on the new Margaret Franklin Creations. Oof, thread stuck to the back. I added a nice little sleeve so she can hang it from a rod to put on the wall. It's one of the nice little tricks of the trade they show you at Quilters Guild. Quilts should have a rod to hang them from. And this is supposedly Christmas fabric. It's called Holly Jolly Christmas, but it's argyle. Argyle's good all year round. I'll tell you what's what here. 2/3 of this fabric was fabric that I picked up at the Quilters Guild. They always have like a donation at the beginning. People drop off all the scraps they don't use. I usually end up sweeping up the most colorful ones because I'm trying not to hoard, but I can't help it. I see colorful fabric and I get inspired. Well, this pink flowered fabric here is actually Valentine's fabric I bought at Fabricland. This nice yellow-orange floral fabric, that's from the 80s. I used to have a skirt made from fabric like this, and this stuff with the cool pinwheel thingies, or the pinwheels, dartboards, whatever they are, that came from the Quilters Guild donations. This fabric with the bubbles was from the Quilters Guild donations. I think this floral fabric in the middle came from the living room donations there. Beautiful flowers. I love all the colors. This gorgeous purple batik came from the donations at the Quilters Guild meeting. And these last three were also from the Quilters Guild. This fabric kind of reminds me of my mom. It's the 70s, all these little colored dots everywhere. I can picture her making herself a nice pantsuit out of that. When I was a kid, I didn't think I'd want to be caught dead in my mom's clothes, and now I do wear them. I inherited some of the sweatshirts I made from her, but that's another story. The penultimate square here is my favorite. I love rainbows and color theory, and I had the challenge of breaking the color wheel down into 20 shades to accommodate for the number of petals there are on this flower. And then there's this last one. This fabric also came from the Quilters Guild. It's a lovely retro batik with these interesting designs. And I had a hell of a time trying to not get any wrinkles in the back of this. They're wrinkled anyway, but they would have been a lot worse if I hadn't discovered this interesting, neat little hat here. I will show you. I have two different hoops. Well, duh, yeah. Actually, yeah, these were two different hoops originally, but I made them into even more different hoops. I don't think this will quite, yep, there it is, we go. These were both two separate 11 by 17 frames here. I ended up having to, because the first frame, I forget when I bought it. These usually last a good 2 years, but the sleeve was cracked from here to Mexico. It gets like that after some wear and tear. But if I have to use it, I might use one of the smaller sleeves to anchor that side. But what I did was, I bought a new frame a couple months ago that I hadn't used yet. I took that one out of the package, and I took the long ends from both frames, the 17-inch frames, or sides here, and made them into a big square. And I took the 11-inch thingy dingies and made them into an 11-inch square. And I've been using the 11-inch square for this smaller quilt, so it's been easier to put together. Anyway, hopefully I will have everything ready for the, let me look at the calendar here. Early May there is the Bloom Spring Market that's going to be at that new Holiday Inn at Harmony and 401. More information as the day draws closer. And I'm hoping to do Market Squared. And other than that, what else is new? Oh, I went to the dentist today. I am so relieved they didn't have to do an x-ray at all. I don't have my x-ray until fall. I hate x-rays. They make me gag. I cry more at the dentist now than I did when I was a kid. Excuse me. Just thinking about x-rays makes me kind of queasy. I was so nervous last night that I had to throw up. But I am glad that they didn't do them today. They said it hasn't been a year yet, so they probably won't do it until the fall. But the receptionist insisted I was getting an x-ray. Oh well, receptionists, this isn't the first time I've had issues with them. The one from the gynecologist back in Toronto told me to undress from the waist down even though I didn't have to. And she also tried to charge me $25 for a biopsy. Biopsies are usually free. I've never had to pay for them any other time. But the doctor said, oh, you don't have to pay it. In a perfect world, they should be paying me. So I have my surgery at the end of the month, the pre-op a few days beforehand. That is on the 27th. My husband and I have a date that night. We're going to see Brent Butt at the Regent Theatre. You know, the guy from Corner Gas. I hear he's quite underrated. His show is hysterical, and we'll love him. We're going to have a great time. I'll probably need a nap between my pre-op and date night, so it'll cost me a lot of spoons. Speaking of spoons, I gotta go back to the dentist next week. I have it written down for 12 o'clock. I think it's 12:45. I'll have to check that little card again. Same day as my Quilters Guild meeting. So I have to have a couple cavities filled. I'm not scared about that. I'll tell him no freezing. I hate freezing. With my sensitive gag reflex, I feel like I've got a whole freaking hardware store in my mouth. But I want to be able to breathe, thank you very much. I was traumatized by being frozen back when I was a kid, the first time I ever had it done. Dentist told me, oh, you're going to, it's going to wear off after you get home. Being the literal thinker that I am, I don't know if it's a kid thing or an autistic thing, I expected the freezing to stop the moment I got home. Well, since then, I prefer not to have any freezing if I can help it. I'll take the natural pain. It doesn't last as long as the freezing. Well, that's all the news for now. Bye-bye. Be back soon.